It's the SWP Disciple checking in. Happy New Year to you. I made a video the night of, watch night service afterward, as I was heading downtown. So I think I said Happy New Year then, but now, 11 days into the new year, listening to some Usher, nice and slow. I'm probably wondering, why am I at the mall? Who goes to the mall anymore? Well, I do, but rarely, not nearly as much as I used to. I guess the spirit of the 15-year-old in me subsided or whatever. But no, I was here for a purpose. So while at the gym, this wasn't a primary purpose. My AirPods, the left ear, as I was washing my hands, fell into the water, which they're not waterproof, but they're water resistant. And it's happened before. I've had it, an AirPod fall into a snowbank as I was shoveling, and I didn't feel it drop out. And then when the snowbank melted, a week later or whatever it was, probably longer than that, found it and then let it dry, and it was basically fine. I didn't bench test it side by side to see what the sound quality was before and after, but there was nothing really perceptible. This one, I tried to turn it upside down, flog it, whatever. It was only in that shallow little pool of water as I was washing my hands, maybe barely 2 seconds. Oddly enough, I had my hands kind of caught in a weird position. I couldn't immediately just grab it. It probably took about 2 seconds. I was gonna buy just a left ear to replace it, and then kind of got talked into the 4s, because I think mine are the 1s or the 2s. I've had them since 2019. My ex at the time bought them for me. So they'll just be my backups. I'm gonna do the whatever paper towel trick or the rice or whatever, and then those will just be my backups, which they were. Remember, when I was in DR, I bought those AirPod Pros, but then they turned out to be counterfeit, and they died before the year was over. At least one ear did. I still have them on my little nightstand next to my bed. The real reason I was here is because my Movado 800 series watch. Not sure if you can see it. I'm going to try to be a little reckless here. It only took them a week. I don't know if you can see it too well. It's my 800 chronograph I've had since 20 years. There's a good shot. Since 2013. And I feel like it drinks batteries. So you're probably wondering wait, I thought you were a watch connoisseur. What you doing wearing, quartz watches that use batteries? Well, it's my only one. My other 3, the Tissot, the Baume Mercier, and of course the Rolex GMT. Those are automatics. But yeah, it's been a good watch. Just the right amount of style, just the right price point, right amount of street cred presence or whatever, while I don't have to be, it's not super precious. It's when it was new, it's $1,000 watch. Actually, I think they still carry that model, but a lot of times you can catch them on sale for $700 or so. But it's been a good watch for me. So going on 12 years of service, and no issue, except that it seems to kind of drink batteries. I think that's probably the 4th time that I've changed the batteries on it in whatever that math is, from 2013. So going on 12 years, we're in 2025 now. I feel that's a little kind of a lot. It should last 3-4 years. It's somewhat less than that, but that's all right. So anyway, the title, you're probably damn, Disciple, what happened now? It's always something. Well, yeah. This time, I pride myself on being pretty perceptive. I didn't notice until a couple days ago, but I suspect it happened right after the new year. And I'm going to be ambiguous because I can't really talk about it. That's not really the point anyway. The point is about, it can always be worse, right? So, I've been morose these last, 2 years for, obvious reasons or whatever. Not thinking that there was a different level that it could go to. My mind right now is still trying to process things. I'm sure there's always something worse, right? So I haven't been hit by a bus. I'm not ill or stricken with anything. My family's decently healthy, etc., etc. So I'm the last person to in a lot of ways look a gift horse in the mouth or not count my blessings. I stay prayed up. I have a pretty decent network of prayer warriors around me. This was on the list, even though it wasn't. This didn't happen. Sorry, I gotta be ambiguous. This channel is probably a good part of the reason why I'm in the situation I'm in now. So I'll say it right now that I'm probably just gonna reduce it just to car stuff. There's the big car show coming up in Boston, April 25th. So there will be that. Then there's the summer car show schedule. There'll probably be some of that, but I think I'm largely just going to shut up. I've been in a mood, right? So I'm listening to all the old jams, like early Mariah Carey, some like gospel music, like, BB and CeCe Winans, some Lindsey Webster, Jokia, every rendition of Silver and Gold you can think of. Like, I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold. I've heard that song my whole life. You stop and think about it, and it's like, it's like a thought experiment in a sense, because that's never gonna happen anyway, or whatever. Like, you'll never be like, over a barrel where you have to, basically what it's saying is that, like, you'd rather have salvation than the whole world. And obviously that's like a euphemism for like a lot of things. I'm a modest guy. I don't come from money. I don't have a lot. I've got two kind of interesting cars, both paid for. My retirement savings, I don't know. I'm well behind. Let's just say just under 200 grand, right? So bad, but not terrible. 4 decent watches. I have the Key Collector app, so I know exactly what my graded comic collection is worth in the moment. It actually ticked up, like I just looked at it before I started this video. And it's about 24 grand, but the market's down. It was worth more like 2 years ago. And whatever other possessions I have, clothes, collectibles, whatever. Like, I like things, right? That's the one thing I got from my mom. As much as I try not to be like my mom in a lot of ways, I have an adoration for things, and when I tell you, I gladly give all that up to reverse this course. Of course, that's not how life works. So it's just you just got to deal with it, right? So we all have issues. This is my problem. Class starts in earnest next week. We had our 1 week negotiations class, which is pretty interesting. We had to argue on one side of like a logging company, like a management company, but it was like both sides were like related. They were family, and it's like a lumber farm. The management company like overcut. I don't know, at least going into it, I didn't know anything about like logging and cutting trees or whatever, and I know a little bit more now. And you had to argue on one side, and there was literally like, they had a judge there. This was like on the third day, so this is Wednesday, and I still have to do like our report, basically like our briefing of it, which is due on Monday. And me and my other two teammates, we're still trying to hash that out. It'll likely get done tomorrow, like right at the buzzer, as usual. But I say that to say, my constitutional law class that begins next week, and my contracts class that begins next week, doesn't care, about my heartache or whatever, like it's still got to get done. The grade still has to be the grade. As I said, well, actually, did I report? I don't know. So grades were, mediocre, but like okay, B- average. What was I gonna say? And that was like right after the start of the year. I might have mentioned it in the last video. Now that I mention it, now that I think about it. I usually get better as time goes on, but the important thing for me was like, keeping my my scholarship, of course, which is like just over half, 20 grand, and just keeping the boat rowing, or the car moving forward, or the machine going, whatever analogy you wanna put to it, and then here's to a even better spring semester, as it were, as we're in the dead of winter right now. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, cause I pride myself on thinking of not every angle. I think that's like impossible because it's like infinite. But like most angles or most probables in a situation. To be honest with you, did not necessarily see this as one of them. Especially after a couple years. But here we are. And it kind of intersects some of my, I guess not so finer points where, I guess I'm just like not that guy. And when I say that guy, I've brought up many scenarios to you about it where a person was, let's just say, very imperfect, but it still kind of broke their way. Or, the way how I kind of casually, I guess, bring the worst out of people. Been battling that my whole life, still not solved, but, we'll give it the old college try. But I say this as you know, morose, I guess, and dour as the title of this video may sound. I say this to say, you know, be grateful for where you are, for what you have. You know, it can always get worse. Like, you know, trust me. And I'm not at all trying to call a fallen angel on my already not so great situation, but you know, I believe in miracles, all that buttery stuff or whatever. It's not like I don't have things on my plate that need to be tended to or whatever, right? So, you know, all I can say is, you know, the Lord is faithful. I still believe that. Maybe I'll have more commentary at some point, but as I said, this channel has gotten me into considerable trouble. Here's a funny thing. I was hooping last night in Ludlow, which is like a very red leaning, not that has anything to do with this, suburb of Springfield last night. That's where I play every Friday night. And my homie, we'll just call him B. We were just talking casually. Maybe I brought it up or maybe I didn't, but he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I found your YouTube channel because I was looking for videos on Staggered. That's like the local like Springfield / West Springfield auto show that we have every year. In recent years, it's moved to like Connecticut, but it still, you know, serves the Western Mass area. Like it's considered like a Springfield show, even though they moved it down to Connecticut now for probably like rental or timing issues or whatever. And he found it, and he's probably like the third person to stumble across my channel. The others were like either it was like forced out of me, you know, like I was like strong-armed in some sense, which ties into this video in a sense, or whatever. Like three or four people have like stumbled across it. So if that were ever like a writing on the wall for me to just kind of like shut my fat mouth, maybe that's it. It's a good thing I'm not really someone who, I mean, again, you know, I live like a pretty clean life. I try to be a blessing to my fellow man, and I think of myself as generally a good person, you know, but obviously we're not perfect or whatever, but it's a good thing that I don't necessarily have like those crazy skeletons in my closet or those crazy stories. I really could have got myself in trouble, but so I guess there's a nod for clean living, right? But anyway, I am rushing back to my backup barber to get a cut. 804. I am looking forward to so my cousin, the same one I told you that I like a couple years ago like lent some money for his divorce, and he you know, is now married and he has a daughter on the way any day now. So I love kids, I love the babies. So I'm sure as soon as his wife gives birth, they'll be coming over to the house probably tomorrow. I don't know anything yet, so we can probably scratch tomorrow, but pretty soon. So I figured I should be presentable for, you know, of course, the newborn photos and all that sort of thing. So I'm like, all right, let me get a cut. It's a little early, like it's like 11 days after my last haircut, but I'd rather be sharp than like not so sharp. So anyway, yeah, you know, I am beside myself, like going out of my mind right now, but instability and not being of a sound mind and all that other stuff is not going to help this situation. One can be sad and still, you know, and still get stuff done or whatever, still be productive. And like I said, these law classes, they do not care about my melodrama. Hopefully in some weird way this is like uplifting to you. I intend for it to be. Sorry if there's like that undercurrent, but like I also wanted the timestamp, like just where I was, you know, mentally and whatever. I kind of have like this Novocaine induced personality in a lot of ways, which actually rubs people the wrong way, because sometimes people want you to emote. They want you to get like riled up or sad or excited and happy or whatever at whatever prompt or whatever. And me, I'm just kind of even keel. I can definitely tell you that this situation's got me a bit out of character in a sense, like privately, you know. There's no point in me like sniffling with tears or whatever and like whatever for this video that doesn't add any value, but yeah, it's there on the inside. Anyway, the Lord is faithful. Stay with me. God bless.